You've just gone to Yale.
When these dads meet world, watching Boy Meets World. We grew up on the show, now we have kids and host a podcast. We watch each episode and then share our thoughts and grades. When these dads meet world.
They want you to take the roles.
Yes, we want you to have all the roles you want because we are like that. Welcome back to Dads Meet World, your weekly deep dive into Boy Meets World, where we have just begun season 6, and we are at the third part of part 3. And, well, we're going to explore all kinds of cool stuff this week. But first,
Do.
It's the first half of your favorite word. Don't. I am dad number 1 this week, Brett, joined by, as you can hear, dad number 2.
I'm dad number 2, and joining us for the first time on the pod is my little girl, because she is refusing to sleep.
As you can hear in the background, she wants to say do.
Yeah, she wants to say do, she wants to say dada, she doesn't want to say mama, but she can hear me in here and wants to talk.
Yeah. Well, Tyler, other than your youngest being awake at all hours of the night, how are things going?
It's going pretty good. I've been with them the whole day, so that's been both a blessing and good stress. So okay, there we go. Dad yelling at me. Yeah, things have been pretty good. Just one of the problems with starting this season is I want to watch the whole season. I won't claim this season to be like the best of the show, but it's like my comfort zone. So like
comfort food for you, you know?
Yeah. So like I started when I originally started watching the episode to prep for it, I immediately started watching the next like 3 episodes. So yeah, I love this season. That's for sure. And it's a lot of fun. And I will say it's so funny it's the Eric, Jack, Rachel stuff that gets me so confused. Because Corey stuff is pretty clear and dry. It's a matter of what is the bit that is holding the second story or the Eric storyline together this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I kept confusing which one it was in the first 4 episodes. Because literally anything that happens in the second to the 4th episode, it doesn't matter when it would have occurred. It's all the same.
Yeah, they could have plucked out any one of those B plots and stuck it. Yeah, they could have just shuffled them and it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have made any difference, really.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
But Brett, the word we're looking for is do.
It is do. Shall we explore do?
Yes,
I
think we
let's
should.
explore do, yes. Good looking people, we are on episode 2 of season 6 this week, Her Answer. And when Topanga finds out that she can't say, I do, at the altar, things get worse as Amy gets angry and Eric tries to stop Mr. Feeny's retirement party from happening. Meanwhile, both Eric and Jack compete for Rachel's attention. This episode was written by Matthew Nelson, directed by David Kendall, originally aired October 2nd, 1998, just 1 week after the last episode, and currently enjoys a 7.9 on IMDb. That's just 0.1 lower than episode 1, so no real drop-off there for ratings for IMDb. It is tied for 5th place on the season
Oh my
for
gosh,
IMDb
hold
ratings.
on. I know we're talking about Boy Meets World, but you just mentioned IMDb. You unlocked something in my brain. We have to talk about it right now. Snow White, IMDb, the worst movie ever recorded. Hilarious.
I knew it was bad ratings, but I didn't know it had officially hit worst of all time ratings.
Beat out Dragon Ball Evolution. Thank goodness
Oh
that movie needed
wow.
to go. They needed to have nothing good about it.
Wow. So good looking people, if you liked Snow White, you can address your hatred toward anyone who reviewed it on IMDb. Not us, because I haven't seen it. Have you seen it,
Nope.
Tyler?
No desire to. I'll watch the original.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I've actually watched any of Disney's live action remakes.
Beauty and the Beast was really good. We really enjoyed that one. It was similar but
Yeah.
also different enough. Like it added to the original story.
Hmm.
It wasn't just copy paste.
Yeah. I don't think I've watched any of the live action remakes. I've seen segments of some. Like I've seen fuller clips from several of them. But I haven't
Fair.
watched any of them beginning to end. We may watch the Lilo and Stitch one just because Lilo and Stitch
Oh,
is a huge movie for our family.
yeah, we're
But
looking forward to that.
already Abby and Toby are not fans of how they're handling Pleakley's character. They have already declared that they have murdered their boy. But anyway,
In the realm, though, does it matter? What matters is Stitch and Lilo. That's the thing that
exactly.
matters. Seth Rogen didn't sound like Timon.
Yeah. Anyway, and getting back to her answer, the Nielsen
Sorry.
numbers. That's fine. Nielsen wise, 12 point no, 13 was our last episode.
Mhm.
13.06. So Tyler, where do you think this episode fell?
Well, I'm assuming it's in the 12 since you started to say that.
You can assume that. I could be looking at my next note too. You're saying 12? He's giving me a thumbs up if you're just listening.
No.
12.42.
They need to see
Yes.
it. Yes.
Yes, 12.42. So we had a little drop, but only by about 500,000, so
Yeah.
or so.
I mean, it's not bad. We've had weeks where it was like 3 million people left on
I've
the face of the earth.
I've peeked ahead at the ratings for the rest of this season and next season. It will drop.
Yeah.
Yes, these were getting to be dark days for Boy Meets World for ratings. So let's dive in, and we're going to pick up where Corey's saying, "If you're wondering why I have this look on my face," as he's
Yeah.
standing at the
No
altar.
previous on, just if you're wondering why I look like this.
Which honestly, I think is a great way to head right into it because we already had that long previously on for part 2.
It's true.
Everyone's there. If you're there for part 3, you already know what happened in part 1 and part 2. So I really like getting into the story like that.
It's fair.
But Topanga can't say I do. And we get Judge Bemis and Foofy are back. We went over their IMDb credits last week. This is the last time we'll see them. But Topanga can't say I do. And everyone at the altar is trying to help her out, which ethically I would have some problems with in real life. If the bride can't say I do, you shouldn't be helping her say
Correct.
I do.
I mean, it's clearly there for the joke of it all. Like,
Yes.
we came here. You are the one that proposed to me. We said we're doing this, and now you can't say it. So, come on.
Yeah. I mean, it's cute, but real world, this would not happen.
But
I've
also,
officiated
Corey
a couple
says,
weddings.
"Don't leave me up here in my wedding dress."
Yeah.
He's wearing a polo.
Yeah. I can't. Oh, yeah. Hate to see that, he says. But there is that moment of poignancy where he shares with Judge Bemis, the real kicker is that she's the one that asked me.
Mm-hmm.
We're up here. We drove however far. I don't remember that we
He
even.
claims 1,000
He claims
miles, but
1,000 miles,
1,000
but
miles would get you out of Pennsylvania.
yeah, I'm thinking they probably only went as far as Vermont.
Well, that's because Sean says
Honestly,
later on they went up northern Pennsylvania. So
yeah. Either way, they're not. They didn't really drive 1,000 miles, but they made a trek.
Mhm.
And in his big dramatic moment, Topanga says, "I can't."
Mhm.
So let's dive into that car ride home, shall we?
I do love the car ride home.
It is fun.
Mhm.
They're just Corey is just not happy.
Yep.
It's due. You got to say due.
Passive aggressive to the 9.
Oh yes, do is the first half of your favorite word. Don't.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when I get and Topanga is telling him she's realized that something that Amy realized at the end of last episode, where Amy is realizing I'm not going to be at my son's wedding. Topanga is realizing she wants her family at the wedding.
Yep.
She doesn't want it to just be something small that they ran away to do. She wants everyone there to celebrate with them.
Yep.
Yeah. And so they go back and forth on a few things where there's the jokes about Topanga wants to be wearing her white wedding dress, and Corey is complaining that the way they're going is me blazing like the white hot light of 1,000
Like Snow
suns.
White. That's why I was in my head.
Yeah, but ultimately, I like the fact that Corey decides he's only going to be mad at her for 10 minutes.
Yeah. No, okay, that's the thing. I will say she asked the question, "How long are you going to be mad?" Just 10 minutes, and that is communication. Like my
Mm-hmm.
wife and I have literally had these conversations in the past where I'm upset about something, and she's like, "How long might it take you to process this?" And I made it a joke because this show is so wrapped up in my brain. I've maybe gone 10 minutes, but I know it only takes me a few minutes to calm down. Eventually, we'll be joking again, and I'll rationally be like, "Hey, you were right." But I love the communication that they have right now. Like Corey is upset and she's trying to
Mm-hmm.
say, "I'm sorry, but this wasn't right. We're not agreeing right now." And we both know that, but let's give it a few minutes and maybe just driving quietly together.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. I like that communication piece there. So let's peek in
Again,
at
as bad as some of the things are that happens, they do communicate well.
this season so far, as horribly as they did the last season. They're starting off this
Again,
season.
at the end of last season, they finally started communicating.
They finally started to figure it out. They're
Yes.
starting off with some strong
Yes,
footing
but
here on
Brett, can we
communication.
go to by far the best bit in the whole episode?
Yes, we'll get there. First, I want to get to a little bit of Amy's setup here. Clipped a little bit of Amy here for us in the
Yes.
kitchen.
Raise Corey carefully. We teach him everything we know. We do the best we can, and then we disagree over one thing, and all of a sudden, he's gone.
He's not gone. He's a good kid. He would never get married without us.
Are you sure?
Absolutely not. But what the heck? We're having another one, aren't we?
I'm giving you the next 18 years of my life. Don't you ever do anything without me.
He won't, and neither will I. So, come on, let's all go to bed, okay? Come on, it's 3:15. Only creeps and weirdos are up now.
How you doing?
I love the runner.
I do too, because it's Eric, and then it's hey, only people up right now, creeps and weirdos. And then it's Sean. How you doing?
And
Mr.
then
Feeny.
Feeny.
How you doing?
It's honestly, it's one of my it's top 10 runner for me in the show.
Mm-hmm. In those compilation videos that has been on YouTube for years now, this is always one of those that every time it pops up, I laugh hysterically.
Oh yeah,
Like I saw it for the
without a
first
doubt.
time. Yeah.
But yeah, Amy is really processing her grief. That, again, we did everything right, and the first time we have this big blow up, the first chance he gets, he runs away and does his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she's grieving is what she's doing. Yep. Yeah.
Well, it feels like Amy feels like she has lost control of her baby, essentially. Like she has lost the ability to be bigger than his problems, because right now his biggest problem is her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he ran away to go get married, in her mind. I mean, it is what he did, but
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. And we get Eric coming in, and
I do love Eric. Yeah, I got a 6 foot tall Wonder Woman sleeping next door to me. But yeah, I'm worried about my brother.
Yeah. Sean comes in and he shares that information about Corey leaving a message on his machine about going up north to the Justice of the Peace, which, Amy then smacks Alan about. Oh, he's a good boy. He won't do anything. He won't go get married. Close my legs and this one's not getting out. And then Feeny comes in because the lights are on. Everyone's talking. No one can get any sleep around here.
Yep.
But I found something interesting here. I'm not going to give the writers credit for thinking this far ahead, because we're only at episode 2, and this is like a season ahead plus. But it's interesting that they've already got a little dynamic here where Sean and Eric, or Eric and Sean, think that there might be some difficulty in Corey not being able to decide who the best man is.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great runner for them for sure. And I'll say, Brett, I'll give them credit. They planted a seed here, because it will become a problem for Corey to decide, is he going to do the quote unquote traditional thing of, if you're close to your brother is your best man, or will he choose his best friend?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, we'll give him credit for planting a seed.
I say, you and I both got married, Brett. Neither of our brothers were our best men, so.
No, I had 2 co-best men, and they're good friends of mine in college, and my brothers both played music at our wedding, though.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, my brother was one of my groomsmen, so he was there, but he wasn't the best man.
Yep.
But yeah, I was happy the way my groomsmen played out.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Someone else was there too.
I think I still have that Green Lantern shirt somewhere.
I hope you do. Yeah. I'll give him credit, Brett. You won't give him credit. I'll give him credit.
I'll give him credit for planting a seed.
I will say this. I'll give credit towards the actors in the way they act in that moment about that thing. I think they end up making some choices within the scene that kind of plays more for that,
There we go. That'll work. So we've got everyone in the kitchen. Eric's starting to get all upset with their words that I was going to use.
Eric apparently drove into his garden, his gated, fenced-up garden.
But Eric is he's just ticked at Feeny again
He is trying to emotionally process, like Amy's trying to emotionally process right now.
Yeah, because Eric is grieving a loss too. But Feeny wants to give Eric some advice. And I want to hear Feeny's advice here.
When someone you care for makes a considered decision to change his life, then those who do care should offer their support and respect his decision.
It's very simple. When someone you care for makes a considered decision to change their life, you should respect it and support them. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Very clearly talking about himself, and everyone in the room decides to pick up on it and apply that to Corey and Topanga. Oh, yeah, we're talking about Corey and Topanga here. Let's do it. Well, I mean, I was talking about myself, a going away party for me, but this advice is perfect for Feeny because he made a considered decision at the end of a teaching career to change his life. This is not a considered decision that Corey and Topanga made. This was a rash decision made because everyone around them was in the middle of an argument. Yep. And no one could settle down long enough for a 5-minute conversation. Yep. Corey wanted a big, bright, shining moment.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, Feeny does have the right to say, I've really thought this through and I have given all I can to teaching. Mm-hmm. And his desire is to go and retire. Not realizing, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, next episode, we'll realize that might not fit him yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, George. But we'll check back in on the lovebirds in the car. Corey, like I said, worried about his big dramatic moment.
All right, I'm just going to say it. The worst thing Topanga does this episode is she tries to adjust the driving mirror.
Why does she?
Topanga.
Their car should be new enough that it should have vanity mirrors on the sun visors. But yeah, why use the rear view mirror?
It's to mess with Corey to
great.
Get
Now I can see what the cars are driving up my crotch. Yeah, but Topanga wants doves.
Okay, but again, she responds back. Stop snapping at me.
Yes, she stands up for herself. I like that.
Yeah, again, Brett, this communication that the two of them are displaying is mature. The choice to leave when they did, not mature. The choice to go to a justice of the peace to get married, not mature. The decision to not get married, mature. The decision to driving back to work out their shenanigans, very mature.
Yes. And they come to a very mature realization together that marriage should not be a secret. It should be a celebration. Mm-hmm. And that they made the right decision.
Yeah. Ultimately, and I love how Topanga's throwing out all the things she wants at the wedding, like doves, and Corey says, no doves.
Yeah.
But Corey says, you were right.
Mm-hmm.
Part of marriage is admitting when someone else, your partner, is right.
Yes. And not holding grudges and not keeping a track record of who was right how many times, but just being willing to admit that when your partner was right and they had the wisdom to make a decision that was needed to be made.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you owe me the rest of your life, it's yours.
And that's adorable. One of those things I keep seeing, Brett, online is people saying, Corey's so toxic. He's so toxic. He says you owe me the rest of your life. Like, he's not. He's jokingly saying to her, hey, you said you want to marry me. We didn't get married, but I still want to marry you. I still am committed to you. So you owe me that.
Yeah. And so we get to check in on the apartment dwellers.
Yes. Can we just call this the love triangle, Brett? Because to keep referring to all this as Jack, Eric, and Rachel's apartment is ridiculous.
We'll just call this the triangle.
Yeah, the triangle apartment.
Let's check in on the
red
triangle.
Couch apartment.
Yeah, we'll check on the red couch. And Rachel is so grateful to Eric and Jack that she's going to make them breakfast.
Yeah, I love that she's making breakfast and they come out all haphazardly until they realize, oh, there's a woman here.
We better come out dressed all preppy with sweaters or draped around our shoulders and stuff. And it's
Rachel, how you doing?
It is absolutely horrible. A horrible perspective to have, but I laugh at it every time when Eric pulls Jack aside and says,
Jack. Live a healthy life, eat all your vegetables, honor your father and your mother, and Heaven reward you with a hot, hottie, hot for a roommate.
It's gross but hilarious.
It is. It is the height of, I don't know, should we just call it the height of misogyny?
Yes.
If you do all the good things, God's going to give you the,
Right.
the
Yeah,
6 foot tall Wonder Woman.
If you live a healthy life, eat your vegetables, honor your father and your mother, heaven will reward you.
With a hottie hot for a
Now,
roommate.
I will say, if you're talking about marriage, you know, I was rewarded with in my opinion, a very hot roommate. So, you know, I get that, but they're not married to her yet, so they can't claim that.
And honestly, it'd be really weird if all 3 of them got married for them.
You know what? I could accept it.
You could. I don't know if Eric could.
No, he couldn't. But Rachel's making them waffles?
French toast.
French toast. Yes.
French toast. But they are her heroes, and this all devolves into Jack and Eric they're gonna wind up fighting over her.
Yeah.
I don't like devolving them as characters for this plot point. I mean, yes, it's simplistic. It's too simplistic for me.
Yeah.
The humor at times works, but I mean, it'll work out better the next episode for their competition with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, I don't like it. They're full blown. They're supposed to be characters, but they become caricatures and become full blown cartoons to where they're not even just one dimensional. They're one note.
Right. Well, I also think it's kind of like any time that Corey's storyline is a little more serious, Eric's storyline has to be more ridiculous and more caricature.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think they took away some of the nuance of Jack from last season and now have just kind of turned him into
He's a
Beefcake
mimbo.
McGee.
He's a himbo.
Yeah. And so he's the sensitive but buff guy now, and Eric is the funny guy who makes everybody laugh guy.
Yeah, they've only got one character trait. They're only allowed to have one.
Yeah.
One at a time, anyway.
Yes. That's a good way to put it.
Flandersation. We're in season 6. It happens.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I don't like how creepy it is that she goes, by the way, I like to take bubble baths. And they go, we demand that you take bubble baths.
Yeah. I will say I like their whole I love you, man.
Dude. Don't know if this is the right time to say it. I love you, man.
Yeah. Hey,
Dude,
consider
I
the fact in the
love
first
you.
episode they're together, Eric and him keep having the same answer to every question. He goes, I don't get him.
I don't like him.
Yeah. So Eric, has really come around to Jack as his best friend. So
Oh, yes. Yeah. So let's leave the triangle. We'll call it the Bermuda Triangle.
hold on. She couldn't couldn't figure out the stopper.
Oh, the
and
bathtub
Eric
stopper,
slugs him
yes.
in the face.
Slugs to the face. They're fighting to get to her. Yeah. So we're gonna we'll go back into the kitchen.
Yep.
Corey and Topanga arriving home. Again, they are not getting what they expected because they come back to a banner congratulating them, and everyone is surprised, or not surprised, but everyone is so congratulatory and so supportive, and there's speeches that are happening, and
There's some weird, creepy conversations going down between Sean and what he has had to say, Feeny, what he has had to say.
Sean, I've got a lot to tell you, and I want to hear it.
Yeah. No.
Mr. Matthews, you have done quite enough tonight, haven't you?
Yeah. I do love Alan's speech because he accepts what he had to accept and is just thankful and feels blessed. and that's what he shares.
Yeah. And I only clipped Amy's, and we'll hear that in a moment.
No, that's okay. I do love the point of I have a
One
wonderful son.
Hey!
Hey!
It's great. I love it.
Yeah, it also just starts this kind of running bit of Alan and Amy don't really know how to parent Eric anymore.
Yeah, he's out of the nest. He's gone. Bye-bye. I mean, locking him out of the door, out of the house,
Yeah.
But we fall into another classic sitcom trope of let's not stop everyone and tell the truth. Let's just let them get everything out and just
they're
let's
talking about
sit
Topanga.
here
She
and
wants to hear them
lie.
say nice things about
Yes,
her.
they're talking about me. I want to hear nice things. Yes.
Yes.
But they could have really avoided a lot of this heartache if they had just opened their mouths and been honest. But then we wouldn't have had Amy's speech.
Yep.
So let's hear Amy's speech.
I have watched these two grow up. Boy, have I. And here they are now, adults, just fresh out of high school. Don't know anything about the world at all. I'm sorry, I can't do this. This is a mistake. And I do not support it. Why couldn't you have just gone to Yale?
Oof.
That's a heavy way to end an act on.
It really is.
But she's not wrong.
No.
And she's being very honest. She is not wrong that if they had gone through with it and actually gotten married, they're just out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we covered this ad nauseum last episode, all the things that they hadn't considered. If they had gone through with it, everything Amy was saying would have been true. It would have been a mistake because they weren't in the right spot to be in that marriage. They weren't ready for it. But because they weren't married, now Amy is going to come across to Corey as just even worse than she was before.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I love. Okay, first of all, this is the first time in a while that Amy's really gotten time to.
Yeah, we have not
things.
gotten enough of Amy doing much of
Right.
anything
She was
other than getting
very.
pregnant.
Right, she was very supportive and very quiet during Corey and Topanga's breakup. When they got back together, she didn't make a big hubbubaloo about this is a mistake or anything like that. And even when they were having the discussions of the fact they're engaged, she didn't blow up on them. Her anger was towards Alan.
Mm-hmm.
And so her communicating how she really felt and that she can't fake being supportive right now is fair.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she blames Topanga for not choosing her career and not going to Yale is kind of reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, it does still come from a place of grieving too. And the episode will unpack that later on. And we'll unpack that later when we get to it too. But it's coming from a place of truth, but it's also coming from a place of hurt.
Yeah.
But Corey is seeing this as Amy is now the veneer is fallen, and Amy's been lying to him about how she feels about them all along.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we can also attribute some of Corey's response right now, not just that she hurt Topanga's feelings, but they probably have been up almost all night. Outside of maybe
there was
stopping.
no sleep in the Matthews house.
Yeah. So the fact is that everyone's tired, everyone's exhausted. No one's really eating much right now. So Corey is as an 18-year-old, has zero patience and really, for the first time, truly kind of yells at his parents without regard of what the consequences will be.
Yeah.
And he's not the first time he's not backing down, I guess is the way to put it. Because we've seen him before get upset with his parents, but be in the wrong while being upset with them. But this is the 1st time.
We've seen him get put in his place a lot
Mhm.
by his parents. We've never seen him be able to walk off with the last word, really.
Mm-hmm.
But he does. He has that high ground here where he's able to say, we didn't get married because she wanted you to be there, and storm off. And he's able to have that moral high ground momentarily there.
Yeah.
Of course, if they had just said everything from the start, they wouldn't have to have had this conversation.
Of course. But
Yeah.
I think Corey was heading towards a blow up no matter what
Oh, I'm sure.
was said or done. I honestly think if they had come home and they had said, we didn't get married, everyone would be like, oh, thank goodness. That would have been the worst decision of your life. And he would have been beyond frustrated with them.
Dramatic little Brillo head? No. Over dramatic little Brillo head? No, not him. Well, let's peek back in at the red couch triangle, because Jack's wrapping up a book and Eric brings
Who's
in
the
a
present
bird.
For? No one. Oh, you want a present? It's a book.
Oh yeah. We got a book from Jack and a bird from Eric, and they're both going to give presents to Rachel to try and win her over to themselves. And it's too much for Rachel, it appears.
I will say that they're not saying that they want to date her necessarily. It's just they want Rachel to like themselves more than the other one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not necessarily, because they're not taking a full-blown run at her, like asking her out. It's really more of a, which one of us can we endear will be more endearing to her.
Yeah. Between book and bird.
Yeah. Can we eat this?
Well, it wasn't a good present. Can we eat it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have the clip of Amy and Alan in the kitchen?
I do.
Good. I love this scene so much.
I do too. So let's listen in.
I understand that you don't want our little boy to make a mistake, but he is not a little boy anymore.
Please, I still lay out his clothes and what she wants to do.
Topanga.
Right. What she wants to do.
Topanga. Use her name.
Right. What Topanga wants to do is...
Lay his clothes out for him.
What?
Take care of him. Be there for him. Amy, do you think that this would bother you as much if this was some girl who couldn't take care of him as well as you have? Do you really think that Topanga isn't right for him?
It isn't about that. They are too young. He's not ready. I'm not ready. Yes, she's right for Corey. She loves him.
And she goes on. I had to cut it off, but she goes on to realize she's jealous of her.
Mm-hmm.
But Alan does a fantastic job of being there for Amy and letting her vent, but at the same time, gently nudging her to realize what the real core, the bedrock of her issue is.
Mm-hmm.
That, yeah, it's true that they're young. It's true that that you're not ready to let them go. Two things can be true at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't get married, so that's a good thing. But you are going to have to let him go because he is an adult who's going to be leaving for college now.
Mm-hmm.
And like it or not, they did leave the house engaged.
They did. Yeah. This is a scene. Really, this episode is one of those I would watch a lot around the time that I was gearing up to propose to my wife. Because I was 19 when I proposed. I was only like 2 months away from being 20, but still, I mean, young.
Mhm.
So I remember as I was getting ready for it of using scenes like this to kind of help not have any hard feelings towards like my parents, because for my wife's parents, she's in her senior year of college, and so she was, she's thinking about what's next, career, engagement, marriage, all that stuff. Where, for me, um, technically, I still have 2 more years of school left, so I shouldn't be thinking about engagement and marriage and career yet. I should still be focused on school. I mean, my parents were pretty clear when I brought her home of like, oh, she different. Like this one's gonna last. And so,
Mhm.
but I remember just uh, allowing these scenes to kind of help in that process for me of, okay, I know when I finally talk to my parents, when I finally propose, like things will be different. And I have to be able to be okay with that.
Mhm.
It's not easy. And good Lord, I'm so thankful I'm years away from those hard things.
Yeah.
But hey, buddy, guess what? You're just around the corner from hard
Oh,
conversations.
I better have a few years before I got to have those conversations. I better have a few years.
I'll be praying.
Yeah, you do that because I am too. I got a senior who is not dating anyone and a sophomore who is, and I better not be hearing any marriage proposals anytime soon.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Again, it says we still have Eric. Oh God. Like, okay. Eric is not bad. Why is he our punching bag?
well, because when Eric is all Eric, he is, but when he's normal, he's great. But speaking of Eric, let's check back in on him and Jack because points to them they figured out what the problem was with Rachel when she left. They figured
Mm-hmm.
out that they were running too hard and they needed to
Mm-hmm.
give her a safe space where they're just friends to her.
Yeah.
That's what she needs. And seriously, props to them for figuring that out on their own. These are
Yeah.
human cartoon characters that I would not expect to have that kind of insight.
Yeah. I like that they're trying to communicate that we can't be trying to pressure you into something that you might not be ready for and able to do
Mhm.
anything about. And we just want to make sure you're comfortable. We want to treat you as a friend and a roommate and be mature.
Yeah. And then she lets
I do
know
love
that she could have fallen for either one of
immediately.
them.
Oh no,
Oh no.
we guessed
We
wrong.
guessed wrong. But she's
Oh
going to
yes,
take her
because she has a giant suitcase.
Yeah, and of course you'd think she was leaving. But the suitcase is just stuff of her exes she's going to take to the incinerator. But she could fall
Mhm.
for either one of them. But they need to keep it just platonic and just be friends. So
Yeah.
yeah. And then the oven goes off after she walks out. Apparently Eric did cook the bird.
This is apparently.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I will
Anyway.
say one of the things I do like in what she's communicating is that she's realizing that her boyfriend, who she was ready to commit to, ready to make part of her life forever, he did not treat her well. And part of the reason that she walked away upset was because two guys who are literally a stranger to her still are being kind, sensitive, and trying to be whatever they need her to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
it helps that they think that she's hot.
Yeah. Hot, hottie, hot.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go to a different park than we are used to going to.
Okay, here's my question, Brett, before we move on. Do you think they're actually outside, like at a real park? Because I was looking at this scene and looking at the lighting, and I'm like, I don't think they would build a tree to have the shading the way that things are.
No, I think they actually went out to a location for this shoot.
Yeah, I think they put the exact
I think they took that jungle
monkey
gym
bars.
out with them.
Monkey bars, right?
Jungle gym. I think they took the jungle gym with them.
I'm sticking with monkey bars, Brett. You can't convince me otherwise.
You can
call
stick
it a
with that
jungle
all
gym
you want. You call it monkey bars all you want. I'm going to call it a jungle gym because I'm
all
right.
right. So they have the monkey bars out there, right? They're standing by the monkey bars,
but they're definitely outside. And I didn't clip any of this. Just letting you know.
No, that's okay.
But I love that Amy and Topanga go to have their conversation, and Alan and Corey go to have theirs. And I love the talks that they have between them. And
first of all, I love the let's give them some space. I can't do that. Mom's gonna kill Topanga and bury her in the sandbox.
I love that Amy invites Topanga to call her Amy and not just Mrs. Matthews. I mean, she's really inviting her into her world.
And you forget that she's referred to her as Mrs. Matthews the whole time they've been together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been in this current reality, it's been, a good 17, 16 years.
Yeah. In this timeline.
Yeah. But I think ultimately the most important thing of this whole meetup is that they want them to know that they should never feel afraid to tell them anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ring comes.
I like that. I like in the scene between Amy and Topanga that she's making clear of you're not just trying to become my son's spouse, you're becoming a part of our family. It's more than just, a wedding ceremony and whatnot. Like, we want you to be, we want you to feel like one of our kids, which is big.
It is. Yeah, you're not just marrying your partner, you're marrying into their family and they're marrying into yours. You're joining the tribes into one big new tribe, and your own little tribe is going to be a subset of that tribe.
But even the conversation between Alan and Corey is really good as well. Of Alan being very clear of, you stood up to me. You protect, like essentially saying you were trying to protect Topanga from us, which is the right thing to do. I do love you called me a man? Yeah. What are you going to do about it?
You got to stand up and do something about it? Yeah.
Yeah. It goes a little bit back to the roots of this character, and that he truly wants to do what's best through his parents' eyes. It's just him stumbling through life to do it.
Yeah. And sometimes his stumbles are big.
Yeah. And Amy, of course, pulls out her mother's wedding ring or engagement ring. And Corey goes on a slight Corey tangent. Do you remember,
Corey, don't I get to do anything?
I didn't get to propose. I didn't get to give her a ring. I didn't get to do nothing.
So we get a proper proposal with a ring and everything, a traditional Corey asking Topanga to marry him, puts the ring on her finger. A ring that I'm assuming we will get to see on her finger from episode to episode, on like a promise ring that he gave her at Christmas time. And they reveal that they're waiting for the wedding, that this will be a longer engagement, and they'll have the wedding when they're ready.
Yeah.
Which is
But
smart.
I do love that Corey does get down on one knee and he proposes back to her, and her answer is not "I do," but it's yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's an agreement for the two of them to commit to building a life together, one block at a time.
Yep. So we'll go to the tag. We're at Feeny's retirement party, complete with altered banner from Corey and Topanga's congratulations.
That couldn't make a new banner.
Couldn't make a new banner. I wonder if it's the same day.
Probably.
I didn't think
Maybe
to
Corey
check
finally got to shower.
wardrobe. But Eric's going to mimic Amy's speech to Topanga because he's trying to give that supportive speech to Feeny, and he just can't. He can't support it. And he tells Topanga that
Why couldn't you have just gone to Yale?
Every time.
And then leaves, and Alan locks the door behind him, and that's all we see.
Mm-hmm. Oh, golly.
And did you notice Angela is in the background of a couple of shots here, and she doesn't get a word of dialogue?
Yeah, but she's there.
Yeah, she's at the celebration party. She's at Feeny's Feeny's retirement party. We don't get a word from her.
Yeah.
I wonder if she had lines that got cut.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Sean's only real lines are, how you doing? Well, it went up north. What are you doing up Creeps and Weirdos? And then, I bet you do have a lot to tell me. I want to hear all about it. I think that's the only lines he had in the whole episode.
I mean, there's not a lot to do for a lot of people. I mean, you got a lot of people that only have a couple of lines here and there. But
This is one of those weird streamlined episodes that we have a point, we want to get to the point, and we need to get to the conflict as quickly as possible.
Yeah. But anyway, that is how we end the 3-part graduation, his answer, her answer, triad of power trilogy, however you want to frame it. Corey and Topanga are now engaged and ready to head off to college in 2 months. So, Tyler, do you have any deep dives for us?
I do.
All right.
People. Am I the only one who read the summer reading list?
I feel it is my responsibility as a father who has told this my whole life that we should start with nothing good ever happens after midnight. So if you're out and about after midnight, go home. I know for some families it's 1 o'clock. Some people are 2 o'clock.
2 a.m.
Clearly 3 o'clock is the bottom line for this family. So,
yes.
No one regardless, you need to pick a time and go home.
Yeah.
Okay, so
nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m.
Yeah. There's a How I Met Your Mother episode about that.
Oh, yeah. Exactly what I'm referencing.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I went to sleep.com and found an article about why people end up waking up or being awake at 3 a.m. And the big things, of course, are anxiety, worry, and stress. Sometimes low blood sugar is a problem for that, and cholesterol spikes happening apparently around that time. Shifts in sleep cycles. So there is insomnia is also a big problem. So there are apparently a bunch of reasons why people, for whatever reason, like 3 o'clock ish, will just be awake. So getting old, of course, is one of those things that quite often happens. I mean, for some elderly people, it's I wake up at 3 o'clock and I go on Facebook, and that's the time I spend. I go check out what all my grandkids are doing.
Yeah.
Oh, Brett, there are 7 common stoppers for bathtubs.
7
Would you like to take
common.
a guess at any of the names?
I have no clue what the names are. I didn't
okay.
know there were 7 common ones.
right. Right. All right. So there is the lift and turn, the push and pull, the toe touch, flip it, trip level, lever, or pop up, and then the removable drain stopper. So the lift and turn pros is durable, in inexpensive. Thank you, but it can be tricky to remove. For the push and pull, it's durable, inexpensive. Also can be tricky to move. Hey, toe touch.
I'm sensing a theme.
Durable and easy to. No, it's the only one. Those are the only two that repeat itself. Okay. Easy to use without bending over. Cons is it can spring will eventually wear out. So that's the one where it's like you can push it and it'll stop it essentially.
Okay.
Flip it, inexpensive, easy to install. Con, the O-ring will eventually wear out. Trip lever, don't have to reach down to drain or adjust the stopper. Kind of like if it's like up by like where the thing comes down, the spigot comes out. So installation and upkeep can be tricky. Apparently, is a con. Pop up, don't have to reach down to adjust the stopper. Installation and upkeep can be tricky. Hey. Removable drain, easy to install and remove, may not fit all drains. So, Brent,
easy to lose.
Those are all of the type of drain stoppers. So, hey, there's 7 different kind. Maybe Rachel's never seen that exact kind, so it's not that out there for.
I'm sure there was one of those kind in that tub that was hard to figure out.
Of course. All right, Brett. Let's talk about some of the best locations to elope in Pennsylvania.
Oh.
So if you're looking in the northeastern section of Pennsylvania, you got World's End State Park, Rickett Glen State Park, and Hickory Run State Park. Blah, blah, blah. You also have Ohio Ply State Park, Lynn Run State Park, Laurel Summit State Park, and Laurel Hill State Park. Northwestern PA. We're very familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
Presque Isle State Park, Allegheny National Forest, Cooks Forest State Park, McConnell's Mill State Park. We're really big on state parks.
Are these
for those that don't
places
live in
to
Pennsylvania.
elope or places just great places to go camping?
I mean, I would say that they're great places to just get married in general, but from the website I found on elopement, this is the one that's saying all around Pennsylvania, this is where you should elope. So if you're looking in central Pennsylvania, you got Raystown Lake, White Mountain Wild Area, Bucktail Overlook, Elks County, Benezet, the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon. There is a Pennsylvania Grand Canyon, by the way. Semasonaha Honing State Park, and Cherry Springs State Park. So in the making marriage legal, with it being an elopement, there are apparently 2 options. You can hire someone like a likely ordained or local mayor, judge, basically anyone who can handle the legal handling ceremony, usually using a fee with them. Second option is to do it yourself, a self-unifying ceremony. Pennsylvania, you can have a self-unifying wedding license. Didn't know that was a thing.
That's
And I live
new.
here. Yeah.
That has to be a new thing.
Yeah, must be. I don't know. But apparently, those are great places to elope. Brett. I have here 8 common birds that is now illegal to eat, Brett. So you want to take a shot at what is a illegal bird to
Common.
eat?
Common that's illegal to eat. Oh boy, common is going to be a tricky word here, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Robins?
Number 1 answer, robins.
Really? Yeah.
Mhm.
Cardinals?
Not in this 8.
Orioles?
No.
Blue Jays?
No.
All right, just give me the rest of the list then.
All right. Just for the record, these are, if you're caught with eating one of these animals, it's apparently considered a federal crime.
Hmm.
So first up, Brett, you had robins. We should have ended there. Next, you got thrushes. I have to send you this article so you can put little pictures of them up. Then you have loons. They kind of like
Loons.
duck-like things. Woodpeckers.
Hmm.
Cedar waxing wings.
Never would have guessed that one.
Mhm. Bobolinks.
Hmm.
Owls.
Hmm.
Sparrows. And that's it. So,
All right.
yeah, I'm going to send this to you because I found this hilarious. But yeah, apparently for several of these, they used to be commonly eaten, and now if you were to be caught with them, you would be in trouble.
Interesting.
Yes. So, Brett, you want to take a crack at what is the longest teaching career in the United States?
67 years.
A little too high.
A little too high.
That's okay. So, longest career as a teacher at the same school is 54 years. As of today, 61 days is achieved by a man named Paul Dirtz from Gurnee, Illinois. Blah, 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 blah. Let me get more information on him. The other article. So he reject your cookies. I don't want them. Yeah. So he's in his 70s, and he on September 1st, I think it was last year, Guinness World Records came and gave him the title of longest reigning teacher because it was 53 years that he became the longest reigning teacher. So he's been teaching since he was 23 years old, Brett, at this same school.
Wow.
So, I mean, for that many years, you're looking at now grandkids of the original students that he had.
Yeah, at least.
Mhm. I mean, there were teachers that my dad had when they were younger that I either had or was around, but then they quickly retired after I had left school because Pennsylvania had a. Sorry, this is a little bunny rabbit trail, but Pennsylvania around 2012 did a big giant. Hey, teachers, if you want to retire early, here's how you could do so. And a lot of teachers said, I will take that, which fair on them.
Yeah.
But trying to cut down on the budget, and they took it. Many of them.
Can't say I blame them.
No. So, yeah, so Mr. Dirtz apparently teaches at Woodland Middle High School in Gurnee, Illinois since 1970s, teaching social studies. So apparently he says that teaching is never boring. Every day is different. So good for him.
Yeah. Hey, as long as he
You know,
loves it, good for him.
yeah. I mean, but starting teaching in the 70s to teaching nowadays is a whole nother
Woo!
universe.
I can
So,
only imagine just how different it is for him from year to year.
yeah. I mean, God bless him.
Yeah.
So, Brett, those are our deep dives. We've talked about Yale over the past, I don't know how many episodes, and I'm tired of talking about them. So,
Good. I am too. Well, let's talk about what we learned then.
You know anything about the Odyssey? Huh? Did I say you could talk?
I didn't teach you that.
My friend Mr. Matthews will lead the discussion.
Do I have to draw you a picture?
I'm going to share my lesson from Mr. Feeny. Talk things over with your spouse and listen to each other. Be there for her or for him when they're hurting, and be the comfort they need, ready with a guiding word of advice if needed. So my learning, my lesson is really more on the side of the parents here this week. What
yeah,
about you,
I
Tyler?
mean, what I basically learned or relearned or however we want to phrase it, but there's gonna be hard conversations, and I think one of the things that Amy and Alan learned last week was, or last episode, or literally earlier that day, was if we're jumping on our adult children like we did when they were kids, they're not going to respond the way they did as kids. They're going to respond the way an adult is going to respond now. And that transition is hard. I mean, for crying out loud, the transition we're having right now of our oldest child going from our little baby boy to becoming a real kid with desires and interests and really following passions now has been a weird transition for us. um you know Desire for independency and us trying to respect that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think every transition for your child's development is hard, and I think with each kid you respond to it differently.
Yeah.
So give grace, I think, is the proper way that I'm trying to say.
Amen. All right.
I'm right.
No, you're exactly right.
So am I done with my education? Can I go?
How would you grade her answer, Tyler?
This might be cheating, Brett, because we're finishing the story, right? Like, this is weirdly enough the return of the king of Corey and Topanga. Like, we've had a 3-part episode essentially, and you know I've watched the episode so many times I could quote it. Even the stuff that Eric and Jack and Rachel are up to, it's none of it is bad, I guess. So I guess I'm stop. I'm gonna go for it, Brett, and you could be upset with me if you want to be, but I'm giving the episode an A+. We've had a whole 5 seasons of build up to this moment, and we've had an additional extra build up battle at Helm's Deep level of activity. So I'm going to give them credit for ending the story in the right way, having this wonderful, beautiful moment of the engagement and parents recognizing where they've messed up and trying to make things better, and I'm giving it an A+.
All right. I'm going with a B+.
Fair.
There's a lot of good stuff to be had, especially the Alan and Amy stuff, and the Alan and Corey, and the Amy and Topanga stuff. The Corey and the Topanga actually having good communication. All of that is great stuff. The Eric and Jack stuff, it's not horrible, but it's not great. It's just kind of there for the most part. And it relied too much on a couple of tropes. to really break into that A tier for me. But
Fair.
as a B plus, it still ranks higher than the last episode. So
Yeah.
it's still a good solid wrap up.
Yeah, it is. Well, and I'll even say this too. Is it a perfect A plus? No, absolutely not. But they landed the story, you know.
You got to land the
and
plane.
For that, I give them a lot of credit. Let's be honest. Return of the Kings is not the best Lord of the Rings book or movie, but
And
it's
at least
the story
this one
that
only
brings it all
had
together.
one ending. Yes,
True.
all you Tolkien fans, come at me. Return of the Kings had like 5 endings. Come on.
I think they're all aware.
Yeah.
And they're okay with it.
You freaks. Anyway, I believe I owe you a dad joke or two before we are done. So,
Listen, at least they didn't have to battle for Hobbiton when they got back. Anyway, yes, give me a dad joke.
All right. What is the difference between a sock and a camera?
I do not know.
A camera takes photos. A sock takes 5 toes.
I like it.
Yeah. I was out on the street the other day and someone stopped me and told me I smell so great. I said, thanks. I use both nostrils.
Very nice.
And one last one. Happiness comes from within. That's why it feels so good to fart. All right, good looking people. That is it for us this week. If you want to reach out to us, you can email us at dadsmeetworld@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us on our social media channels at X/Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're on all 3 at dadsmeetworld, and on YouTube at dadsmeetworld, if you're not already watching us there. And if you want some sweet Dads Meet World swag, you can find shirts, stickers, magnets, hats there at dadsmeetworld.threadless.com. That's what it was, yeah. So, until next time, I'll see you, good looking.
Back to you, kitty cats and good looking people.
You know, how can I learn so much every week and still be so stupid? I want to be normal, Spud. Was that duckies? No, garbage. Read the Bible.
We are the Timmers.
This is good TV.
Dads Meet World is a production of Headfirst Studios. Headfirst Studios. Tell your story.